I'm Wendy Mitchell. I'm a journalist and a film festival consultant, and I'm thrilled to be here today with filmmaker Magnus von Horn. Hi, Magnus.
Hi. Hello, how are you?
So Magnus, as you might know, is a filmmaker born in Sweden but living in Poland. He made his first feature, The Hereafter, in 2015, and that showed at Cannes Directors Fortnight. And now he's back bringing the world Sweat, his second feature film. It's been selected for the Cannes label, and it's being sold by New Europe Film Sales. So Magnus, congrats on the film.
Thank you.
So for people who haven't even heard of the film yet, can you say in your own words what it's about?
It's about a fitness motivator. It's about Sylvia, a fitness motivator, social media influencer, and 3 days in her life when she kind of takes a different look at herself because she gets a stalker after she has made a post on her social media accounts that's gone viral. She has confessed to feeling lonely, and this has attracted a stalker, and it kind of escalates to her questioning her lifestyle she has created.
Okay. What fascinated you about this world of social media influencers, these people who are posting 20 videos a day?
It was just after I did my first feature film, and I was spending a lot of time on social media at the time, actually. A lot of time on Snapchat, which was very popular at the time. And that's the first time when I came across fitness motivators. And I somehow it was like an aching tooth. I couldn't stop watching. And I wondered why. And it was like a new way of the reinvention of the reality show. And with like one person directing the same show. And it was very interesting. And I couldn't stop watching, and the amount of followers fascinated me, and what they posted fascinated me, because it was, content for them is not necessary. It's different. Content, what they share sometimes felt extremely like empty, and on the other way, and sometimes like surprisingly deep. And I like this contrast of like you say, 20 videos of I don't know, playing with your dog, and then suddenly a very kind of heartfelt confession about something really real that I felt was stronger than most things I saw in fiction. And that fascinated me, and that made me want to write about a character inspired by what I saw.
But you don't strike me as somebody who's posting pictures of your dog or what you're eating for lunch. Like, are you more of a sort of lurker on social media yourself, or do you tend to do confessionals online?
No. I do films because that's my confessional or whatever. That's my platform. But I'm not at all on social. I'm very passive. I'm more, a passive observer. And I have a part of me, I guess, is very kind of jealous of this ability to be able to so freely and spontaneously share things on social media, because I'm completely unable to do that. And I think at the beginning, I was looking at them as narcissists and feeling that this behavior is narcissistic. But then it also made me think about my own behavior, which is I was equally narcissistic, because I can't even make a post without thinking it over 500 times. How will I look if I make such a post, and so on. I would say it's equally self-absorbed.
And did you just watch a lot of these people online, or did you meet with any of them to find out about life away from the camera?
I was watching a couple of them, and they were inspiring me a lot, and I wanted to meet one of them. I wanted to meet one of them, and I sent a mail, but they never wanted to meet me, never replied. And I think that's maybe good, because I really liked to keep it was very inspiring what I saw in my phone, what they posted. But the rest of it is should be like, it's my version of the world, my version of them. It's not them.
Right. And it's a pretty amazing performance by an actress called Magdalena Kolishnik.
Yes.
Playing Sylvia. And, you know, how did you find her? And this is her first leading role in a film, I think. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, she is she acts in movies as well, but she's mostly acting in theater. And she was the first person we called for casting, actually. And I had never met her before, and she didn't even have an Instagram account at the time. But there was something in her character that just kind of fit. And but then we kept casting for months because that's what you do when you cast. You can never, the first person can never be the chosen one somehow. But she always came back. Like I would always bring her back for test shoots and so on. And it was actually like, I think she had given up hope of getting the role, but then she sent me a video. She was out like running and she had stopped by some river and she was sending me a video because she had seen some online pitch I did at the Torino Film Lab, and she had been a bit moved by that, and she just wanted to wish me luck. And it was like a really moving video she sent me, and it was just like Sylvia would have done. And then I gave her the part. It was like quite obvious. That was like the cherry on top.
Yeah. And how did you two sort of shape this character once she was cast? Did you have a lot of discussions about Sylvia's backstory, or did you do a lot of rehearsals?
No, I mean, it was a lot of rehearsals, but it was mostly because she really needed to create Sylvia, and that requires time. And I wanted her to create her, and she needed to find her for herself. So we prepared she prepared for about a year and a half with a lot of working out at the gym and a lot of Instagramming. I would give her different tasks and stuff, but it was really about her slowly and very organically moving into Sylvia. And I think at the end, and that's what I guess the goal of it all was, that in the end there is no difference between Sylvia and Magda and me and anyone else. That's like I guess the core of the film, that there's no difference between human beings. It doesn't matter if they are fitness motivators or, I don't know, stalkers or haters or lovers or whatever. Yeah. And that's the core we wanted to reach, so that this long process, I think, made Sylvia into Magda and Magda into Sylvia, and in the end we didn't know who was who.
I was also really fascinated with the visual language of this film, which I thought was, very different from The Hereafter. And, you have the fitness moments when the camera is going all around and extreme close-ups, and then you see these sort of lonely shots and long takes when she's away from the camera, of Instagram anyway. Maybe you can talk about how you and your DOP, who is Michal Dimek, worked together to create the visual look of the film.
Yeah, I knew that after The Hereafter, I wanted to make something with a completely different visual style. I wanted to make something very dynamic and colorful, loud, fast. And I also didn't want to make storyboards, and I didn't want to plan how I was going to shoot, because that's I've always done that, and I wanted to do something different. And so with Michal, we really most worked on like test shooting stuff with Magdalena, and finding a camera that is a bit too close, a bit too intense, and a bit too nosy. Kind of like we thought of it as like a dog that doesn't have these borders, and it just wants to come along and will never feel offended, will just always keep jumping back in the lap. And Michal has this great handheld intuition, with handheld camera. And on shooting, most scenes would just be made in one take, and the camera would roll the scenes would go on for 20, 25, even 30 minutes. We had to change memory cards while shooting and stop the actors for a moment for technical break. And that's the way how we shot the whole film, was not thinking editing, but mainly just really catching a staging for the whole, that would work through the whole scene. Set the actors free and release the camera. Then we would do that a couple of times. And I knew that in editing, I didn't want to have a precise idea of how to edit. I just wanted to cut out what's not interesting and leave what's interesting. And I didn't want it to look smooth or nice in these like cutouts. I would just go out when I didn't like it and jump back in wherever that is. So it's like, for me, it was just about being as free as possible, which is like complete paradox in filmmaking because everything is so planned. So I put like the freedom bar as high as I could because I knew it has to be compromised because, I mean, there are other people on set as well that need to record sound and need to know what's going on. And, you know.
And for any sort of film geeks out there, what camera did you use?
Ari, what was this? Mini Alexa.
Ah, great. And how did Magda take to that style of shooting and these long takes and this dog camera following her?
Yeah, I think for her it was great. I think, but that's also the way we worked all the way, like from rehearsals up until the shooting. So I think she got very used to it. And I think it was the way we did that film. And I don't think, I think it grew slowly, so it was no surprise. But it was, she's good in the way that, she's great because she invests a lot in her, but she treats her character, like she treats Sylvia as a equally complex character as she is personally. And it gives her, I can always rely on, she somehow knows intuition, she has the intuition, and she knows always what Sylvia will do if I get lost or if we improvise something, and I can rely on her because she really like takes on the character.
And I've mentioned that you're Swedish and you live in Poland, and this film is set in Poland. Yes. Do you think this story is sort of rooted in Poland, or could it happen anywhere?
I think it can happen. Of course, but the story can happen anywhere because the story is emotional. But like the packaging, I think is more interesting in Poland than it would be in Sweden, for example, because this packaging is so. It's such a mix of capitalism and a country in hungry change and a kind of like riding the waves of whatever is working politically at the moment. It's a mix of feminism and Playboy and inspiration and I don't know, also like kind of racking down on people. It's a really strange world in that sense, but that like also what makes it so fascinating. It's like, I don't know, whatever you call it, like the Kim Kardashian feminism.
Yes. I don't know what that's called.
No, maybe Kim Kardashian feminism, but whatever, I think it has like a stronger resonance in Poland, especially in Warsaw, than I think it would have in Sweden, in this kind of fitness packaging.
And as we mentioned, your first film was in Director's Fortnight, and unfortunately we all know that Cannes is not happening as a physical festival this year, but it's happening as a market, and you've gotten the Cannes label, which is still prestigious. What does that mean to you and the film to be selected for Cannes this year?
It means we will reach an audience, I hope. Which maybe we wouldn't have reached if we didn't have the Cannes label. That's the big difference, and that's really what makes me like the most happy, that the film gets a platform. And of course, it's great for self-esteem and feeling better and wanting to make a next film. But really, I'm most curious and really excited about how also in like this pandemic times, like how to release the film and when it will be released and in what way. But whatever happens, I know that the label will help a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And what, when audiences can see the film, what do you hope or think they're going to be talking about afterwards? What do you hope that this film explores for them?
I think what I would like the most is that we can, someone like Sylvia like this fitness motivator influence, they're so hated upon. And for me, it was the most important thing is to look at Sylvia with love in the way that she looks at us with love. And to somehow, you know, like kind of remove the cynicism of the way we have to judge things, and just remove that and just love for a moment. And I think that's really like important.
Yeah, I think, you know, very much you're not judging her as a character in the way we might expect at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, that's I mean, I guess that's happened with, like, was the case with the Hereafter as well, but to take like a kind of extreme character and to break the stereotype, and for the audience and myself to relate like on a deeper level, or to find myself in that character. I always like that when you dig deep into someone and you find a kind of a mirror, and that's also maybe why you don't dig in many cases.
Yes.
Because you know that basically we're the same, but it's so much easier to just, you know, to hate someone, or to not like, or to criticize. But it doesn't require that much energy. But loving someone, accepting someone, or going beyond these kind of judgmental ideas, it requires takes some effort.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the process for Sylvia in the film, like in relationship to her stalker and what a stalker is, and kind of, you know, loving your shadow character and so on.
Yeah. Well, I think this film's going to give a lot of people a lot to think about. So,
I hope so.
Congrats on the film, Magnus, and I can't wait
very much
to be able to see Sweat. And thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Great talking to you.
Kochani, na pewno znacie ten moment, kiedy budzicie się, a wasze ciało jeszcze śpi, a umysł śni. Sprzedam wam w tym momencie najlepszy sposób na poranny, przyjemny trening.
Jest piękna, młoda, zdolna i pełna energii. Drodzy Państwo, Sylwia Zając. Objawienie w świecie fitnessu, można powiedzieć.
A to ile masz już followersów?
Jakieś 600 000 na tą chwilę.
Słuchajcie, proponuję zdrowie Sylwii.
No i mamy, która ją wychowała.
Wszystko w porządku?
A dlaczego pytasz?
A byłaś ostatnio na pudelku?
Nie.
Kochani, chciałam wam jeszcze raz bardzo podziękować za dzisiejszy trening, za to, że ze mną się spociliście. I w takich chwilach, jak dzisiejszy dzień, czuję, że jesteśmy jednością. Widzisz ten samochód tutaj zaparkowany? A nie wydaje ci się, że ktoś tam siedzi w środku? Co? Mi się wydaje, że to jest mój stalker.
Zrobiłbym jeden klik i to wszystko by zniknęło. Tak po prostu.
Co się na mnie kurwa gapisz? Zboczeńcu jebany!
Po prostu też bym chciała mieć kogoś bliskiego, kogoś, kto wziąłby mnie za rękę i powiedział do mnie: Sylwia, kochanie, wszystko będzie dobrze.